Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be doing a breakdown of the game that we created. That's the runner game demo. I've already posted this in a previous video. You can actually check it out in my channel. And today we're going to be doing a complete breakdown of the entire game and how I created it, and I'll be explaining the code. If you don't know how to write the Orchestrator visual scripting code, just put it out in the comments and ask me to create a more detailed step-by-step tutorial. So for now, let's just go into this project and see how it was done. So first of all, this character was created, was imported from Mixamo. So it's actually a Mixamo character, and the animation is from Mixamo. So you can be able to download that and download the character and also the animations. So I have various animations here, and I'll show you those animations. So if you want to be able to know how to do that, you can be able to get that. You just ask me in the comments and I will create a video separate for this particular one. I intend to create a series video that will be talking about all this. So but for now, let's just go ahead into the breakdown. So the first thing we're going to do here right now is that we're going to look at the animation player. So we actually see the animation. So I imported this character inside Blender, and then I added the three animations. I renamed them to jump, fast run, and idle. So if you actually change this, you actually see it has different things that it can be able to do. We have the fast run, and then we also have the idle animation there. So that's a jump. Some reasons the animation is actually it's not playing here. So and the reason is because of this particular thing. We already have set it in the animation tree. So now let me show you how the animation tree works. You won't be able to see here because it's being controlled currently by the animation tree node. So in animation tree node, I created a sort of a blend. So I have the first animation is jump, and the second one here is idle, and the third one is a fast run. Okay. So and I put a blend tree. This is how I can be able to transition into different animation whenever I'm working. So if I'm trying to run or jump, I use this to blend all of them. And when you click here, you actually see different properties. So you see the parameters, the blend. So from here, this is where you write the code from. Okay. So that's basically the animation here that you can be able to rename or do whatever. And you also have to make sure that you always put it on loop. So now let's go into this thing here, the player itself. So to make it easy for me to have different players, I imported this character, and I left it the way it is. I just had to set up the animation player and animation tree node to control the three animations, to blend them three together. Okay, so and then I had to create a separate scene for my player. Now the root node here is actually a character body 3D, so it enables me to be able to control the character. And I have this thing here, the mesh. Okay, that's I use for a prop, like when I was doing the testing for the first time. Then I have the collision shape here. Okay, so I did this so that I can always be able to import this character, or change it to whatever I want. If I want to change it to a boy or a girl or another character, I can easily have that without having a problem with my code. So where I actually added the code is in the level 1. So if I go into the level 1, you actually see in my character here. Let me go to the character player roots. I have a node 3D, and then you see the player now. All right, so the player, let's open it up. So we'll have the player, and the player is the character body 3D, and then we'll attach this boy character to it. So the boy character is this particular character we actually have here. That's what we attached to it. So if you actually click on this place, you actually see that it's actually this character, this boy character 3. So that's what we'll have here. So it has been attached here, and I now have to write the code. So let's go into the code and explain what some things about the code. So to make a character move, I have several things here. So the first thing I created was I had to make everything here. This is my player code. So I had to put my physics process, and under the physics process I have a sequence. Okay, don't worry about this one, I'll explain that. So the sequence enables you to be able to smoothly transition to different, if you press a button, it will switch that particular animation or movement immediately. So the first one will have is the right arrow. That's for you to be able to move towards the right, because you are, in a 3D environment, so you're moving towards the right. So we'll have telling you that whenever you press this, the branch, okay, so that means you're giving a condition. The condition is if it presses this, it should move and slide. So the move and slide is very important. It enables you to detect collision, so that whenever you collide with a body, that it will actually stop that character from moving past that collision shape, or at least you'll be sensing it. So if you don't put this, the character will pass through objects that are static body objects. It will pass through them, and you don't want to do that. And this translation, this called translate, is actually what makes it to be able to move on the right. Okay, so if you actually go into the 3D, you see that this should be the right. That's the z-axis, so it's going to be going towards the z-axis this way. So that's the z, towards the right there. Then the next one we'll have here is the UI left. So if you actually click here, you see all the codes. So UI left is arrow key left, the left arrow key. So we'll have the branch. So you check if this is pressed, then move and slide. You can always get this by just right clicking and typing move and slide. So you can actually get that from there. So you just plug it in, and then you have your call translate. So the call translate it's the same thing as this one here, but this time around you're moving towards the left. That's negative sign. So you look at that there. The next in the sequence is call translate. So if you look at the game, you see that the character is always running on his own. So this is how we're able to make it run on its own without doing any part, not pressing a button. This is a continuous run code. Okay, this is what makes it to run continuously. So we made it to be running. So if you want it to run faster, you can increase the value here. Okay, I had to do this hard coded. I didn't want to put a variable. I just wanted it to be easy to access here, so that you can be able to change it whenever you want to change it. So if you come up here, you actually see this is move and slide, the same thing. So it's text collisions, and then we'll have a branch here. Now this is very important, because we'll have a branch and then we'll have an up arrow here. Okay, so let me collapse this for the meantime. Collapse this. Need this part. So if I press the up arrow, after this, if I press the up arrow, now I'm trying to tell it to do something very unique. I want, if you're pressing the up arrow, I need it to be able to set this animation as active, and also to send the blend amount to -1. So let's go back to the character, so you actually see what is happening there. So if you go into your animation tree, we'll have this is our 0. So if you go to -1 is that should be our jump. Okay, so if you go to 1 is run. So if you go back to your 0, that's so to be able to get that, all we just did was just to come into select this animation tree while we're still in this code, and we'll just come in here and drag this out into this place. Okay, so you can just set it, and then you can tell it the value. So if you want it to be idle animation, you make it 0. If you want it to be the jump, so you change the value. If you want it to be the idle, the run, fast run, you also change it. So right now we're telling you that whenever you press the up arrow, please switch to the jump. The jump is -1. That's in a blend. While if you're not, that's if it's false. If you're not pressing the up arrow, we want it to switch down back to 1, which is actually the run, the fast run. So that means that if I don't press the up arrow, then I want this to always be running all the time. So it's going to be moving and running. Okay, that's the idea of what we're trying to do here. So the next thing, this particular code is still really necessary. I just do this in case maybe for any reason I switch off my animation, maybe because of the code I'm writing within the game. So I just have to put that, but that's not really necessary. Then under here we'll have another code here. So this is where the jump works now. So for the jump, I'm telling you that in the next one. So first in the branch, I will tell you that call is on floor. That means that it should be on the floor. It means that it should be touching the floor. So if you go to my scene, my level 1 scene, you see that down here the floor has a collision, so that the gravity should be working. So that means that the character should be able to fall past this thing. So but because I have a collision on it, a collision shape attached to the floor of this particular bridge, is going to be able to detect it, and then it won't pass through it. So now I'm telling you that if it's on the floor, okay, the next thing you should do, you should check also if I'm pressing up. Okay, so if I'm pressing up, if it's on the floor, I have something else happening here. Let's go through this one first. And if you are pressing the up arrow, then we want to call translate. Call translate right now, it's what direction is going to be going. So now to make it work very well and for easy access, I had to create a variable. So my jump speed is I made it 3 here. Okay, so I now attach this jump speed. It's just an integer. Okay, so to this, so this particular thing we'll have here is just a simple vector multiplier, because we're working with vector tree, and you simply get this by, you can just right click and you type vector, and you go to vector multiply and you go for this. Okay, you can go for that. So once you just bring it in, you actually see that you can be able to always put this and then put any value that you want. So once you plug it in, you give it the axis. The axis we want it to jump is on the y-axis. If you go into this, you see that the y-axis is the straight, that's it will go up. Okay, if you do -2, that means it's going down. So right now I just made it 2 so that it will multiply the value of this particular speed, that's this 3 that we'll have here. So depending on your scene, you can always change this value. If you don't want to jump more, you can just change this value here. So it's necessary that you put this, because if this is 0, it will not know where is going. It's not going to know where it's going to be jumping to. So you need to put this 2 directly here. Very important. So you have the call translate. So that means it's going to be moving up. This is what makes it to jump up, and then it's going to also move on slide in case there is an object that is on top of it, so it doesn't pass through it. So that's how you can make it to be able to jump. But then you need to bring gravity. Okay, so gravity needs to be working on it. So to make it to work with gravity so that it's going to be falling on its own, so you're telling me that we are multiplying delta by the gravity here. So this is what you get by just getting multiplication for integers. So you can just do multiply. So if you go down to where you have ints, okay, look at that. So you don't really need a vector directly here. What you need is just a normal integer. Look at it here. So under the integer here, you just have multiply int, and you can just drop this. Those will multiply the two, because both of them are both integers. They can always work together here. So but when you are getting this will be a vector, like we did in the last time, a vector 3. So you can just use this vector 3. So the vector 3, this value that you're multiplying here, this enables you to be able to slow down the jump so that it is not rapid. So you're making it to be more in real time. So you have the return here. So when you drag this into this place, and then you now tell it the axis you want. So -2, that means it's going down. That's the gravity right now. So this is what helps it to be able to come down. So now remember, we now said false. So that means when it's not on the floor, that's the only time we want this gravity to begin to work. So that's why we made it on the false, and then we did translate. And then the value of this translate is what we did here. So we told the gravity multiplied by the delta, okay, multiply, and it's going to be multiplying by -2 on this axis, that's the y-axis, so that it will be bringing it down. And then we'll plug it to this translate. So that means this is the gravity. So I had to do this here so that you actually see the entire code. You can actually separate this into different functions. Maybe another video I will do where I will break down how to use Orchestrator completely. So if you want to see that video, please put it in the comments below. just write it there, Orchestrator complete video, and I will do that too. So the last thing here is that move and slide. So you can be able to actually move and slide so that it collides with any object that is at the bottom of the character when it's moving down in with gravity. So that's basically how you can be able to make your character to be able to jump and walk with gravity. So this is just basically moving right to left. So that's basically that. So one of the things you also have to bear in mind is that the reason why it's 3 here is if you look at whenever we're playing a game, the character is moving rapidly towards the right or to the middle or to the other side of it. Okay, so we have to use it so it has a rapid movement. If you want it to be smoother, let's say you're doing a third-person shooter, you can be able to decrease this so that it will be slower when it's actually moving towards a particular direction. So that's for the character itself. So let's go into the next thing. So in this level 1, I have a node here, a node 3D. So here we'll have the world environment which we added, so we can be able to check that out. So let me just double click on that, and you see that we'll have the world environment. This is a procedures card I actually use here. I used panorama before, but it wasn't giving what I wanted, so I now use a procedure sky, and that's just a normal sky it comes with, you know. So and then I have next thing here, I have a directional light that is in my scene that is lighting up my scene and making it much brighter. So then here I have my background music. So now I'm going to come to the background music very soon. Okay, let me see here. I have it's actually connected to the level. So let me just go into the code for the level 1 before we go into the other code. So right here we have the first code we have is on obstacle body event. Okay, so now this is a way of being able to track. We are tracking a particular one, so we want to be able to track for the game over screen. Okay, so we have created a game over screen here. Look at the game over screen. Let's see where we'll have it. Okay, that's it here. So we'll have the game over screen here. So to be able to trigger this game over screen, what we had to do was we told our code, we said body entered, okay, call this group. So this group now is that it's going to be checking for a group that is called player. So to do that, what we did was that if you go into this place, you see that we selected it here, and then we went to our node here, and then we went to group, and then we'll call the player. So you can just type in any group you want and add it. Okay, so that means that that particular node is added to this particular group, so that it can be detected anywhere. So that means that whenever it's colliding, okay, with any object, when body entered and the group is player, so that particular object is colliding with actually player. If it's another thing, it does not observe it. It does not collide with it. It doesn't do anything. So but once it's player, is going to check whether it's player. That's the condition is going to be checking, and then it's going to change the file scene. Okay, so we'll have the get scene tree, and then we'll have get resources. So and the resource is getting for us is the game over screen, and we'll have the instantiate scene. So this will actually change the scene completely to the game over. So whenever you touch this is for the obstacle. Okay, so let me show you how this was done. So if you look at here, we'll have the obstacle somewhere down here. Let me look at it there. So we'll have let's go down here, obstacle. So you see now we added the obstacle, and the obstacle we just clicked on it, and we had to go into our node signal, and look at here. So we just clicked on that and connect. So when you click on connect, you just go to level 1 and click on that and then connect it. That's how we're able to create that particular code. So once you have that there, you can be able to now tell it to change the scene. So then we'll have here on gate body entered. So on the gate body entered, we'll have it's still doing the same thing here. So tell it if call is group player for it. So if it's touching the group player, so this is the gate. The gate is the game over the win screen, because the aim of the game is for you to reach this gate here. This is the gate. All right, that's the gate over there. So for it, once you reach here, this the code is going to be running. So we are telling you that whenever it touches this particular player, they will want it to check whether it's doing that, and then change the scene to our win screen. So the way we set this is that we have to click on the gate. Look at the gate here, and then we also have to click on body entered. So this is a signal that it can be able to send, and then we'll have to connect it to this level 1. So you see that we created much of these things. We have to bring them inside this place to be able to create that. So the same thing we did for the obstacle. We have to do for the first one, and then we'll have to now duplicate it. But whenever, one of the things you have to bear in mind whenever you're creating your obstacles, make sure it has a root node, okay, before you have the main object, so that it's easy for you. Once you are moving it around, it's easy for you to move it around wherever you want. So I'm having an obstacle pack that I'm using to control all the obstacles, but then each one has its own root node that is not even part of the main obstacle. So if you look at this main obstacle, and the main obstacle is an area 3D object. Okay, so we'll have area 3D node, so we'll have that there. So let's go back here, and then here we'll have ready event. So to play the music that is playing in the background when we are playing the game is we'll have to put the ready event. So ready event is, you know, from here. We'll have the music. Let's go to the music here. So if you actually see what we did here is that we had something here. This is our music here. We told it that whenever it finishes, so if you see here, we said whenever it finishes, when it's finished, we have to connect it, and told it that set play again. So that means that when this particular scene is ready, it's going to be playing this song. When it's done playing the song, okay, it's going to set it to be playing again. So that's one of the things that we can be able to do there. So after that, the next, that's all the code we had in level 1. So if you actually go to level 1, you see that we just have different signals that we are calling, okay, and then functions here that we actually had to override. So after that, we have here, let me just go through other parts of this. So this scene as the tunnel. Let me just go down to where I have my tunnel. So I have my tunnel, and if you look at here, you have the first one. So this, I just had to model this, and this was modeled using Blender. I had to model it and export as a GLTF file, and, you know, optimize the entire. I have to optimize the entire texture. If you look at what I have here, so if you want to know how I create my textures, you can see one of my videos in the past series I did for making a 3D game in Blender and Godot engine. So you can be able to actually create that, and I'm just duplicating. Now we're not doing spawning here, we just have a very simple game where you can be able to run from here to the end of this place. That's the idea of this particular game. It's just more like a game demo. So here we have duplicated all of it to be able to actually get this. Now, one of the things you always have to bear in mind is that when you're doing this, always make sure that you have you know this, you know, completely different. It's even better in this particular scene if you can be able to have a separate node that controls all of it, so that, you know, you can be able to move all of them at once if you want to. Then here we'll have the UI. Let's go into the UI. So in the UI, we'll have a very simple UI that counts our coin. So if you look at what we'll have here, you know, it's whenever you pick up a coin, it's going to increase this value. So right here, we just have a very simple control. So the control node enables you to be able to display things on the screen. While you're moving, it keeps on appearing on the screen. And I have to use the color red, you know, to bring it out. And then this is the label for where I have a coin, and then this label here is for this. So I had to now program this, and how I did that was, if you go to coin, let me just drag my coin back here, And okay, I already have it somewhere there. Let's check it out from the other side. So the code is not within here. I had to write the code inside this place. So let's go into our coin pack. So if you go to coin pack, you see that you have your code here. Now, if I click on this, so I said on body entered. So I have to do this so that it's easy for me to access this body entered, within this particular place, and it's going to have some effects. So I have this on coin body entered. It should be whenever the player touches it. Okay, that's the reason the condition is going to be facing. It should set the coin. So I have, if you go into this code, I had to put this because I was also using this level 1 to count my coin. So this is the coin that is actually setting here. Okay, so that's the reason why I have to put it within this particular code inside this place so that it will easily access this. I don't have a global variable here. So I tell you that whenever it sets the coin, you should get the coin and then add 1 to it. So once it does that, it should set the text. The text now is the text in the UI, this particular label. If you click on it, you actually see that it's actually the label that it's using. So let me see if I can find. Let's click on here. Look at that. UI root control. So that's the UI. So the UI root control, that's where it's actually getting this from. So it's going to set it to the coin. So that coin is the value I have in my this thing, what's it called, in my level 1. So I am putting it there. So, and I'll set it to play the coin pickup sound. It's a sound I had to put for picking up coins, so that whenever you just click on it, whenever the coin is collected, it's going to pick up that coin. And then Q3, this is the most important, it will delete that particular coin. So if you don't do this, the coin will remain there. So you need to delete that particular coin that you have done. And it's going to be doing this separately for each of them. So you have this on coin body entered, it will call it, it will check this particular thing, and then it will set the coin to +1. It will add whatever is the value. So if you actually go to that level 1, you see that the level 1, the coin actually is 0, and it's an integer. So if you go to that level 1, you see that you have the coin. So that's what we actually have here. So that's how you can be able to set the coin. So it's a very simple code that does everything for you. Then that's for the UI. Then for the coin is just simply an area 3D. So if you look at here, I have another coin. This is the actual coin itself. So, but what I did was that to make it easy for me to detect this and to be able to change this coin. So even if I wanted to change this coin to maybe another type of coin, I will just come in here and change this particular one. I'll just delete this and add another 3D shape. Okay, this particular thing now is a 3D shape, and it's not 3D. So, but what we need for this to be able to be picked up is that it needs to be an area 3D. That's one of the reasons. So we'll have the mesh, and then we'll have the collision for it, and then you have a coin that we just added inside it. So if you turn off this coin, you see that you just have this here. So this can contain any particular object that you actually want. So we'll have the animation, and animation we did on it. We have to create an animation for it, animation for that's rotation, that is rotating right now, and then we have to use an animation tree. So we just added animation, time scale, so you can be able to increase the timing if you want it to spin faster or smaller or slower. You can be able to do that and then put it here. So that's how we're able to import it inside our coin. And then if you look at one of the things that we did here, very important. So we have a lot of coins here, and each coin has a root. Now this is very important. If you don't do this, when you start moving your coin, they will keep on going back to the same location. So if you have the first coin in the center here, all of them will go back there. So you need to have the coin that you have done that is separate, that's where all the codes are, and then you add that coin. This is an area 3D. Add it to probably a node 3D that will be controlling that particular coin, so that when you select it, it's going to be moving it anyway. So because if you don't do this, if there's an animation on this particular one, it will always go back to the animation. This is a problem I had when I was creating this game. And then when you're duplicating, you duplicate this. You duplicate the coin roots. Okay. So you can now get all those coin roots together and pack them under one coin so that you can be able to easily control all the coins all at once. So I have just like a coin pack that I have here. The same I do with my obstacle pack. Okay, and each obstacle should have its own roots too. So the other thing we'll have here is our stats screen. So we'll have a very simple start screen. I just had to take a screenshot of the game and create a start screen, and it's a very simple one. So I have my sprite, which is actually the picture, and then I have a color red, which is just like a black background I put in the background, and this, which is like a transparent background that I actually put, just to pull it off from the background, pull off the text from the background. So to do something like that, you just click and then you just reduce your alpha. That's how you get transparency inside Godot engine. Then here I have my label, which is actually the name, and then we'll have the buttons. So now the buttons, now we have to create a code, a video scripting code here in the stats. I will save this. Remember that we always save all our work inside all our codes inside a particular script. So we'll have different scripts that do things, and easy for us to see all the scripts all at once. So I had the play and then the exit button. So the play, if you go into this code, you see that I just had to select that, go into my node, and then press and connect it. So if you connect it, you see that I have my on play button pressed. Is going to get a scene. Okay, so if you want to get this, you can always right click and just type in your scene, and when you get your scene, okay, you can always drag this. Sorry, let me do that here. Drag this and then do change. That's how you get this. If you search for change out here, you're not going to get that. So you always have to drag it out from this change scene to be able to actually get it. And then you have to get resource. So you just get a resource, set it to the level 1. So because when we click on the play button, it should just jump to level 1. If you have another scene, maybe a load screen or something, you can be able to set it to this, so that it will load before it will actually get a game. Then we'll have it will change the scene and instantiate it. So that means it's going to replace the existing scene with the level 1. So it's going to remove the start and then put this one here. The same thing we did here on the exit button. So we'll do the same thing. Exit button, we had to click on press, connect it to this start button. And then if you look at here, we just did call quit. So you can just get scene. So when you get this, you drag it out and then you type quit. And then you can, you just type quit like this. And you can see call quit, and this will quit the game completely. So that's for that. Then here we'll have the tunnel. We have already talked about that. So the tunnel is just something we imported from Blender. You have to import it and make sure that everything is working properly inside it. So that's tunnel that we have here. It has materials, and then we'll have to turn off some things inside it to make it look great. Then we'll have obstacle. That's obstacle here. And then we'll have the gate that we created. So these are the gates. Here we'll have some collision shape. So if you look at this gate, it's an area 3D, okay, and it has a collision. So this is the collision that whenever the character touches it, is going to that will be you win the game. So that's the aim of the game. You just get to the gate. So then we'll have starting body. So we'll have the starting body to just make sure that this body is collided with. Okay, so we'll have a collision here so that it doesn't pass through this wall, and then also this one so it doesn't pass through the floor. That's why we had to put this here. So but the mesh itself is another thing here. Okay, so we did it so that if we want to change these gates, we will not have to remodel everything. Imagine if this was the main control. It's difficult for us to control. So we just did it this way so that we can always change whatever we want to change to whatever we want. Then we'll have the windscreen here, and the windscreen, let's look at the code for the windscreen. So we'll have the same thing here. If you look at what we'll have play again and exit. So the same thing we did on the start button is what we did here. So you press and then you change your file to get a scene, change it to level 1. So if you want to play again, it will get it back for you. Then remember, this is just a demo that we created here. And the same thing here, you call quit and then you quit the scene. Then the other thing we'll have here is the pause. So the pause button here is a very simple one. So if you look at here, you also have a very simple pause. Okay, so we'll have a continue and the exit. Okay, so this we have to instantiate this. We didn't write the code here because we're not going to be using directly here. We are using it at level 1. So if you go to level 1 and you go down, if you open the pause, so you see the pause, this is where we'll put the code, so that the reason why we have to do this so that it's easy for you to access some few commands. So if you look at here now, if you click on this, you see that what we did here, the first one is exit button. So when you press the exit button, so that's what we did here. So we said whenever we press the exit button, we want it to quit. So that's what we'll have here. And then we'll say on continue. So when you select on the continue process, so the way we did this is that if you go back to this place, you see that we have to open this up. So whenever you import a particular scene, or you instantiate a scene inside a particular another scene, if you right click on it and you say editable children, it enables you to be able to have access to the children from another place. So I have access to them now. I have to now click on them. So the code was implanted here. So I have the code here, and then you click on press and you connect it to the pause code. So that's how we created this, and then we'll now told it click on that pause code. So we'll now told it when you press the continue, call set pause scene. Okay, so when you type scene and then you drag this out, you can get set pause. So this will undo the pause. So when you have pressed the pause, this will undo the pause, and then it will set the pause to be invisible. So but what really makes it to be paused is, so we have this process. So whenever you press the escape key, that's the cancel, UI cancel. Whenever you press the escape key, it's going to set the pause, enable it. So this, you drag that from here to be able to get this. So you set the pause to enable, so it's going to be turned on, and once it turns on, it's going to set this pause to be visible. By default, we always make this to be invisible, so that when we start the game, it's invisible, and then when it's invisible, it's going to set it to be visible whenever you press escape key. So when you press it, it sets it. I think this code should be under here, so it's easy for you to understand, and this one should be under this one. I think that's the best way to do it. So after you have set this to visible, if you want to go back to play again, you can be able to actually click on this. You click on the continue and it will keep on playing the game. Now, one of the things you have to note when you're setting this, because if you do this, it's not going to work, except you click on this and you go to your inspector, go down to where you have the process and click on always. By default, it will be inherited, and once you do, if it's an inherited, when you pause your game, it will pause, but then you can't play it any longer because there is no other node that is always available for you to work with. So this pause node, okay, or this pause C, it has to be always, the process mode has to be always, so that when you pause it, this particular pause scene will still be on. So even if you want to play an animation on the pause scene, okay, you can always play it, and whenever everything is paused, it will still be playing. Okay, so if you are seeing games where maybe the entire game is paused and then maybe animation is playing on a pop-up screen, you can do that because this particular scene is very much active. So let's see the codes that we have not touched. I think there is one more here. We'll have the game over screen. So the game over screen is the same thing here we have done. the same play button, change your scene to get a scene and change it to this particular level 1 and then instantiate it. The same thing with the press. And then you have the coin. So we already have that. The coin here is a simple node 3D. This is the original coin that we use. This is the coded coin. This one here is where we actually had the animations. So we did it so that it's easy for us to always change the kind of coin we're using. So we can just go and delete this and then import maybe another gold coin or maybe a jewel or something, and we just input it here, and all the coins in this level 1 will just simply change if we do that. Then let me just check if there's any other code that we have not touched. So we have touched the player, we have thought about how the player works, and then the level 1 and how we write the codes, and then our coin and how the coin detects the human being, the character. So it just checks for if it's a player, and then it's going to set the coin variable to plus, and then set the text that you're seeing there to whatever the new value of the coin is, and then it will play a sound and then delete it. So we'll have the game over screen, the same thing, the win screen, the start screen, and the pause screen. So that's basically how we created this particular game, and there might be other things I missed. So, but that's the overview of everything. So just bear in mind, whenever you're creating games like this, it's very interesting. So just see that I have my idle animation always on this character, so it's going to be moving all the time. So if you have any question on this particular project, please put it in the comments below, and I'm going to be putting this up for free on my each account, so you are free to be able to download and inspect this project yourself, and you're free to also you can also donate to, if you want me to do more work on this and to be able to create more content. But most importantly, I want you to be able to look at it yourself and then see things that you want to learn. And if you want a step-by-step tutorial of how I made this entire game, I'll put it on the comments below, and I will create a series that will explain everything for those who do not have the experience of how to work with visual scripting. I'll just put it in the comments, and I will make a step-by-step tutorial of how I made all this. Thank you very much for your time. I know this is a very long tutorial, and I just hope that you will be able to learn something from this, and please do subscribe. I noticed that most of the people that are in this channel, that watch this channel, they don't subscribe, so please do subscribe, because I have a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers, so that I can be able to start making money from this channel. So that's my goal. Please help me to achieve that goal, and I'll be waiting for you in the comments. So if you have any question or any other contribution or some thing that you feel like should be done in this game, just put it down there in the comments below. All right, thank you. I'll see you in the next video.